I don't know if you can hear us now, but it seems as if that whatever thing has been sorted. But just to give you a brief overview of what was happening, it's an issue of an update. You update the system, and the system kicks some of the things that you use out. This kind of laptops, they have tendencies of being selfish. So, some of the things that you download, you need a certain, people who understand, people who use this. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it was it's an update that happened, that needed to happen, and I had to allow it to happen. Now it kicked the sound out, so now I know for sure you can hear me. It was at the time it made sense when you guys said you didn't hear us. I saw it also on my side. Yeah, thank you very much for alerting us.
We
are back now. We are back.
Imagine streaming for 30 minutes and you have no sound.
Yes.
My mouth is like
yes. So tell us if there's any problem, then we will fix it. It's an update. I don't have control of it. It must happen. If it doesn't happen, also the same thing happen. Also the sound does not come out, or certain things stop working. Okay. So I had to allow it to take place.
All right. At least you can fix it. That's all that matters. Right? At least it can be fixed. It's not like a mammoth task.
No, it can be fixed. It's not an issue. It can be fixed. Everything can be fixed as long as it's in our control. Can be fixed.
All right. Hi guys, welcome back to the Mnisi Reality YouTube channel. For now, on the channel, as always, we are deliberating on what is happening with the Senzo Meyiwa trial, what is happening in that courtroom, and every day we are holding on for dear life. Every day it is gacha per second, per millisecond, per.
Yeah, it's just happening. And Lindy Bembe, thank you very much. We appreciate you in these difficult times, and you still see us worthy to be gifted. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, Mnisi.
Yes.
Mnisi is not backing down.
Yes.
That you can almost be assured that Mnisi is not going to back down. Now you see the shark. When you read his background, that you saw, that you heard about, you see.
Yes. When he started, I did read up on some of the cases that he didn't do, and I was shocked at some of the cases he would take. They were huge and preposterous, and I was thinking to myself, how can you represent someone like this? What are you hopeful for? Like, why? But I understand in the back of my head as well that only the sharks can take such.
Yes.
When you're dealing with taxi owner type of situations.
So it is happening now.
Yeah.
You see where he's going, and his experience is being displayed in that court. In the background of where he comes from, it is also being displayed in that court. How he's asking questions and what ought to have happened with regards to the case from the beginning. It's being questioned. Basically, one can argue that it is hitting straight to Baloyi's door. Because remember when we checked Baloyi 2020 or something like that, at some point he was a deputy what?
A director of public prosecutions at the North Gauteng High Court. That is the Pretoria, the very same division that the Senzo Meyiwa trial is at.
Yes.
Right now.
From my view, if you look at this case, Gininda was priding himself about this case being a prosecutorial case, meaning that it was guided all the way until the finale.
Yes.
But now it seems as if they are shifting away from that, saying that we submitted this and that. And the crucial part that many people have been interested in,
Yes.
that revealed itself today. When we said at some point Kelly would never be charged, it seems as if it was going to happen. And right in our nose, it seems as if it was going to happen, because apparently the indictment has Kelly there as a complainant.
Not a suspect. She's a complainant. She's not a suspect.
But Gininda, but these guys were going to be taken into jail through them being complicit to what Kelly asked them to do.
Yes.
Basically. And that's what Gininda's evidence is all about. He's saying, okay, you guys were asked by this certain person to go and kill Senzo for whatever reason. So Mnisi is questioning that. And now, just now, that's when we see that, actually the indictment was basically saying Kelly is a complainant.
It was a robbery gone wrong.
But they are talking about
a hit. They keep bringing up Kelly.
They are being arrested as hitmen.
Talking about, hey, she's an accomplice, she's in the confessions, she's everywhere. However, she's not charged.
And that's a question that we have been asking.
Is saying a different story, a different scenario, a different
which then prompted
case.
Mnisi to ask this question. Were the prosecutors also sharing the same view as Gininda to say that Kelly is a kingpin from the beginning? Is that what they were viewing Kelly as? And Baloyi, upon dropping Kelly, this is fish and funny and
weird.
Upon dropping Kelly, for that reason, you ask Gininda why he could not ask some of the questions to Kelly. He's been saying, I did not ask because he was a trigger person.
Yes.
You know?
Trigger point. It was a trigger point.
Trigger point, yes. I did not ask. And Baloyi was actually in support of that through his objections. Now, we are told that it does not matter. The matter is not in front of this court. That Kelly is not part of the people that are accused. That's what the judge is saying.
Yes,
in his argument.
Kelly is not here. Kelly is not charged. I couldn't be bothered about people that are not charged. My concern is these ones.
I need to take these ones to jail. Simple as that. I need to take them to jail. That's my concern. The issue of Kelly not being here.
Interpreted, it means these ones are going to jail.
Yes. That's basically what this is all about. And you hear people saying that even if these guys are getting arrested, Kelly is also going to go down. Well.
Keep the
well. We find out.
I got off that La La Land train. I got off it. She's not going to get arrested.
It's a different story. It's a different ball game.
On this particular charge.
Completely.
Of hitman, mastermind.
Even if she comes and say these people did indeed harass me. And that's it. That's all. I told you Kelly was a wild card.
She is a wild card.
And you guys said, we need to bring her. We need to bring her. Do you still share the same sentiment?
Is it desperation to want to see her?
Do you still share the same sentiments?
I don't. She's a wild card. She's unpredictable. There's no.
She is now more predictable in fact, she's predictable to me now that I heard this. She is going to come and say, these guys indeed, I saw some of them. Imagine, and you called that person as a defense.
And then what? And you know what makes me believe that you're going to see, she might even come and say that, yes, these people, I know them, they threaten me or whatever. the connecting of the phones, she's completely exonerated from having made contact, in my opinion, not according to the court.
It is there. It is there on record. It is put on record. But what is happening now is that she's not charged.
She's not charged because there is no such. There's no phone call. This is
Remember,
my
we
opinion.
kept on looking for that phone call, where it came from. We were told about
now
the WhatsApp.
It was a WhatsApp call, and WhatsApp calls were non-existent in 2014. And now the connection between her and accused number 3 is now said to be, it's not a communication, it's a linkage. And then you also saw how Mnisi explained what was happening in the diagram. And it came to the conclusion that there's no such.
And remember,
the only thing remaining is the
without
picture.
any shade of doubt, at some point they have defended that position that there was a communication between accused number 5 and Kaylee. Mshololo is actually about that defense.
Yes.
You know why? Because that number is, who's this person? Mabungu. You know, and that is going to be accepted. And if that is accepted, then there's no even the so-called WhatsApp connection. You know, that is. So Kaylee, it's free.
Yeah. And then this is why they needed to do 375 once and for all. But then there are some people who clearly had a lot more power to push 636 in a manner that it is in, and they just did what they had to do, and now we are here.
Ben, thank you very much for your gift. Thank you. We appreciate it.
More clear now that Kaylee, for this case in particular, I don't think she's gonna be charged.
So, you see, the cards are changing. Everything is changing. Everything. In fact, it was set up for that.
It was set up for this.
My lord, the discretion to decide remains with the DPP. This witness has been saying that, I don't know, my lord. We submit, my lord, that right now we are dealing with. Did you hear him trying to exclude everything as making it independent by saying we are just dealing with these people who are in front of us?
Yes, I heard him. And you know what made me tremble is when he said that the motive is not important, and he was quoting some law to back it up.
All that matters is that these should go to jail. We are shipping them to jail.
That scared me. That scared me. I'm like, so the motive doesn't matter.
No. He argued that point. In fact, the judge started by saying, I'm only seized with this matter like this.
Yes.
And then Baloyi then followed that one up. And that has been a connection that puzzles me, I guess. The way in which they interpret law, the two of them, you know, they connect. You know, they can connect.
They finish each other's thoughts.
That's how it feels like. It's like they understand. If the other one say, hey, stand up, but you're not going to say anything on object after arguing, and then the other one comes and just add on that. And then the other one just say, no, I'm not going to entertain that. The way, it's I like it. It's a good connection. We say it's like
Bluetooth,
you know,
wireless connection of some sort.
It seems less.
Uten, I don't know Mr. Baloyi from a bar of soap. Yes, you don't. But the connection you have, the language you speak,
Scary.
Amazing.
Scary.
It's amazing. But yes, Mr. Anonymous, let us get started.
No, let's start.
To go through.
Yes.
Mnisi continued with his cross-examination of lead investigator, Brigadier Bongani Gininda. He started off by asking him, remember, we were still busy with Exhibit J, Warrant Officer Steenkamp's statement. The second witness that she interacted with was Zandi Khumalo, and she says And I quote, the second witness was Kelly's sister, Zandi Khumalo. She told a similar version and gave a similar profile and facial description of suspect A. The only feature she adds were the eyebrows. She saw the eyebrows when the suspect lost his headgear in the scuffling with the deceased. She could not describe the second suspect. The third person that I interviewed was Tumelo Madlala, who was much traumatized. He saw the scuffling between suspect A and the deceased. After hearing the gunshots, he ran off to one of the rooms. He gave a similar description of suspect A. You know when they say Tumelo Madlala was much traumatized? It's kind of hard for me to believe that warrant officer Steenkamp made all these things up, because when you look at the footage, especially in the documentary of the day after, and you see the devastation on Tumelo's face.
Yeah, it was visible.
And she said, I showed him Kelly and the sisters' compilation, and he was satisfied with the ID kit. He could not compile the second suspect. The fourth witness was Mr. L.S. Twala. That's Longwe Twala, apparently, accordingly, as we are guessing. Mr. Mnisi said he surmised. It's a new word I learned today, surmised.
Summarize.
No, surmised means to say that it is something without having proof of what you're saying.
Okay.
Yes, like he's saying that this LS might Longwe Twala, even though he doesn't have proof that it is Longwe Twala. But he's going to assume with the LS, Twala. So he gave me a similar description of what happened at the scene, and he saw the scuffling between suspect A and the deceased. And after hearing the shots, he ran out to look for help. He could not describe the second suspect. Now she went on to interview the fifth witness, who is Tima Keleni. But we know that Mr. Tima Keleni was not one of the witnesses who were in the house. And then she went on to talk about the sixth witness, who was Piwe. And Mnisi said, I will not be wasting any time. And that's because there is no name that is mentioned to be one of the witnesses who was in the house. So Spiu and he was also not in the house. These are the two witnesses that are said to have seen from the outside on that night of the incident. And they gave their testimonies as to what they saw. Mm-hmm. So Mnisi then said, but both of them are deceased, unfortunately. And Mnisi said, Colonel Streichel said he left for Foslera's detective to see Miss Khumalo at her house. That's Kelly's mother, Makhumalo. He said, I interviewed Mrs. Khumalo at the neighbor's house. She gave a similar description of the suspect A. I showed her the compilation and she saw a likeness in the face. She could not describe the other suspect, the second suspect. So Mnisi then said to Gininda, yesterday when I put it to you that did you in your investigation find a witness who was in the house who describes the first suspect, the one with the gun, in a different way from which the witness in the house are describing him? You said yes. If you can be afforded the opportunity, you can go and look in one of the statements because you were quite sure that such a description is there. This is the opportunity. Did you find anything that is similar to what Steenkamp and what the witness in the house are saying? Gininda said that he understood the question yesterday of how Advocate Mnisi asked him, and he said it was the description insofar as suspect A in terms of the dark color, that complexion, that's where the contention was. He said to Mr. Mnisi, you referred specifically in terms of the dark color. Having gone through all the statements, don't get people that were able to pick up who referred to the dark complexion is Longwe Zandi. I think there are three of them that gave the complexion of a dark person. The person or the others are simply giving a description in terms of the dreadlocks and the height, and becomes the same situation when they describe accused number 2. But not all of them are saying that the person is dark. He said, I'm referring to their statements. So Brigadier Gininda is
denouncing Steenkamp as a person who's just could have been making those things up, as much as he's saying no offense or no
But it is an offense. She's saying
She's
that
basically saying
can't do her
Steenkamp
job.
made up these things.
Yes, she's
In a sense,
can't do her
without
job.
a lot of
It's an attack.
it's an attack to Steenkamp's work.
Yes.
He could have had motive or why. I mean, this is a person who's been working for long, doing this. It's an aspect, to say the least. They are adamant on the aspects evidence as evidence that is not questionable in a sense.
Yes. Yes.
So now, when it comes to Steenkamp, it is not questionable, you know. And it is worrying that there were additional statements as per some of those who mentioned the revolver by revolver and all that, and coming up and saying it's a clarity. And then you come and question someone's work after you have had those people making changes there and there. A
couple of changes.
As it is, it's not alleged that they make changes in terms of as far as the gun is concerned. So it is worrying that you are questioning on the basis of that. You are questioning.
Base his work only on the statements that they made.
Suitable.
The
for
more
him.
recent, the better. That's weird.
It is.
That's weird. Something can happen now, and I give whatever I can give first from memory and recollection of the incident as fresh as it is, and then years pass by.
He's saying that is guided by IQ. So it can only depend on your IQ. If your IQ is that good, then you can be able to comprehend what happened and remember and come back and reproduce it. But if...
And change crucial parts of evidence.
No, I'm saying the remembering just before the incident, he kind of attacked that, saying that not everyone can be able to remember what happened on the basis of the IQ and whatnot. So he's in a sense saying that some of these statements could have been made, and the people's IQ at the time, not at the time, it's actually questionable. So it is better when they are more relaxed. Emotional intelligence was not at the right place. So now they are more relaxed after years, so they make changes where they see fit, if they see fit. And just rest assured, people who commissioned those statements, most of them are people, even him.
Very interesting. Well, he continued to say that as much as Warrant Officer Steenkamp prepared the statement in preparation of the identity kit, if you read what is contained in her summary in relation to what the people in the house are saying...
Let me disturb you. Tozi Senlanga is, thank you very much, doing your job very well for us. Please press that like button. We are only on 137 and we have 357 people. Let us as early as we can build that momentum of the like button, so that we don't disturb, such as now Emily is going through things and now I have to stop her. Please press the like button. Let us reach 200. Why not?
Why not? So he was saying that he said that yesterday that there is not consistencies, because Kelly Khumalo, for example, refers to a dark person, refers to a revolver. You don't find that in the statement. So he is literally saying that Kelly Khumalo, in her statement, she doesn't mention the revolver and is not talking about a dark person. And you, as a lead investigator, did not think of that as suspicious. You didn't think of that as weird, that after a couple of years, these people come in and they change their statements and they are all saying that Steenkamp lied, and you choose to believe them. Very interesting. And he said you don't find that in the statement. If you go to the other places where Zandi said that she could not identify certain people, if you go to other places where Zandi said she could not identify certain people, She says that she will be able to identify the intruders. She said that if I see them again, she'll only be able to identify. So Zandi made another statement where she's saying that she will be able to identify both of the intruders if she sees them again.
And behold, he got into that court and started
pointed at
doing the pointing.
And performed for us and wept and cried and did it all so that we can believe her. And then allegedly. And then on her first initial interview with Steenkamp, she says she did not see the second suspect. But with time, with memory, with the recollection. That's why in the court, she had to be triggered to remember, how did you do this to us? How can you do this? So he said, so you need to read this with that deponent actually, that it was deposed. And he said, so yes, I was able to find statements where there is no dark color or complexion being mentioned of the first intruder. So what he's literally saying here is that, in my opinion, let me put that disclaimer, Steenkamp made everything up. That's what he's saying, in not so many words.
That's our interpretation here.
Yeah.
In not so many ways. He does not trust the work that Steenkamp did.
35 years of doing identity kits, he doesn't trust it. He trusts the people in the house who've been changing their theories and stories a lot.
Yes.
That's the lead investigator. Then Gininda continued to say that the
we
fifth
pick
witness,
and choose.
Yeah, we pick and choose. Yeah. He continued to say that the fifth witness that was interviewed by Warrant Officer Steenkamp, Advocate Mnisi, said obviously because this person was not inside the house, he didn't go to what this person says, but what is prevalent as well, because that is how I conduct an investigation. You don't look at an incident and isolate it. It's amazing how he's holding on to the testimonies of deceased people.
His head is holding on for dear life.
For Steenkamp, everything else she made it up with the witnesses that are still alive that were inside the house. But with the witnesses that are deceased, Steenkamp, he would choose to believe those who are deceased more from Steenkamp's entire affidavit.
Yes.
It's very interesting. And then he said that Tima Keleni gave a statement where he said that he saw 3 intruders coming directly from Khumalo's house. And he says that one of the intruders was carrying a firearm. So then it becomes prudent for him to identify, or rather to assist in the sketching of the identity, and think that is why he assisted in the identifying of the person or one of the intruder, but he places himself in a position where he says he saw the intruders coming directly from Khumalo's house, and one of them was armed with a firearm. And the most interesting thing about Makeleni as well is that he was standing from a distance with the Apollo light, but he was able to see an entire face, both faces of these intruders. He was able to see them in that light condition as he was far.
Yes.
It's very interesting. And you know what the interesting thing again is? He's deceased. He's no longer in the land of the living.
Yeah, he's not here to tell us how he did that.
And lastly, he said, I have considered and agreed with Advocate Mnisi that not all the witnesses, where we differ is not to say that all the witnesses describe the first intruder as dark. Why I have considered is that, or where I have considered is that terms of the description of the intruders, you have a bit of inconsistencies in terms of the description. However, the prominent and main thing that you find in all the statements of the people inside the house is that they were intruders. Then Mnisi asked him, I said that I would not waste the court's time by referring to what Mr. T. Makaleni is saying. Now that you are mentioning Mr. T. Makaleni in an endeavor to try and justify the theory that accused number 3 could have been the person with the gun or with the firearm, this is what Makaleni is saying according to Ms. Denkamp. She says Mr. T. Makaleni compiled the face of the suspect B. He saw 3 unknown African males in the vicinity of the gas station busy on their cell phones. He saw them again at Kelly's mom's house. Suspect B stood at the gate. He said he saw an African male plus minus 25 years of age, plus minus 1.80 meters tall, slender build, medium brown complexion, clothing, black hooded top. Witness saw a golden inset in the upper teeth.
That's why Stengham is supposed to be discredited, because everything was documented by Stengham, and it is in contra to what we are currently seeing in that court in most of it. You know, that's why it's not a favorite for many people, in my opinion.
And it's quite interesting that this suspect B and the description that they are given, 25 years of age, they are tall, 1.8.
Imagine.
Medium brown complexion. What kind of a
this
complexion
is someone
is that?
who would most probably, is it the same person who would be mostly drunk, yeah?
Yeah, there's allegations that they were a drunkard, this T. Makaleni. There are allegations that it was a Sunday afternoon, the possibility of finding him sober.
That's an allegation, and that we leave it there.
Yeah, it's an allegation. We are not sure. But yeah, the chances of that happening, they are just very slim.
Yeah.
But then again, these are very interesting features. Clothing, black hooded top. And we can all recall from the investigations that Gininda, or rather the arresting of accused number 2, where they were looking for a black hoodie. And then they took him to a dentist in Rustenburg to see if he ever had a gold tooth. And then simultaneously, the same dentist now comes and testifies as a general practitioner or a doctor who can check at wounds.
No, we must give these people where it's due. Like, some of the things were really properly done, covered.
But here's the interesting thing as well. The hairstyle was dreadlocks, and they had facial hair. He had a mustache and a beard. Dreadlocks.
Now, this is referring to
the second suspect.
Accused number 3.
Accused number 2.
Oh, wowza. So,
he had dreadlocks.
Perhaps the man has a bit
hoodie.
of description that is on point. Somewhere, somehow. If you look at it. He did explain what he saw, in a sense, and then now and then they might be tweaking and twisting there and there to suit a certain narrative. But I'm inclined to believe him if he says both of them would have dreadlocks. In a sense, that's what he just said.
Well, Mnisi said that he is 1.82 meters tall himself, and that person could have been somewhat his height. So what is most important is that Mr. T. Makaleni described suspect B, and these are the 2 individuals that should be separated in terms of the intruder who got into the house. Gininda said he agreed, however, he thinks that they didn't understand each other with Advocate Mnisi. So his endeavor, as Advocate Mnisi is putting it, it wasn't insofar as accused number 3, because he didn't say that T. Makaleni identified accused number 3. What he said is the relevancy, the endeavor that he was trying to put forward was that the assistance of Makaleni was insofar as the compilation of the identikit was necessary, because in the statement he says he saw 3 intruders coming out of Makumalo's house, and I saw one of them carrying a firearm. I did not say that. And that's where Gininda said that he thought that there was a misunderstanding. And then him assisting in the identity, he continued to say was the drafting of implicating accused number 3. And he continued to say that I said because of that contained or what was contained in the statement, it was necessary for him to assist in the compilation of the second intruder. So I was making it a point that the fact that he was not one of the people who were inside the house, although he was outside, but he was able to see the intruders running out of the house and assist in the drafting of the identity kit of suspect B. It was not to say that I'm saying that accused 3 or that he assisted in the drafting of the identity kit of the suspects. I think that there were misunderstandings.
There are always misunderstanding with him.
And then he said, but we are on the same page. These are a lot of explanations that to me, in my honest opinion, do not make sense. And I try, guys, I try every day to understand him. I'm hearing rambles. I'm hearing all over the place.
Yeah,
you know?
It is.
It's haphazard. It's not organized. It's not clear what he's saying. Well, Gininda,
but the judge understands him.
And Gininda added that when he was under cross-examination with Ramasepeli, he mentioned that the corroboration was in the that accused 2 in 2014, he was 25. And the issue of the black hoodie, which was corroborated by Zungu when he gave a statement that he saw accused 2 at a hostel wearing a black hoodie. But you were not able to find out whether he had dreadlocks or not. The exact height, what is his exact height? And is it anything close to what Makaleni was saying? There are so many things. It seems like he picked, not even it seems he did, they picked whatever they saw as favored to them.
They could be able to back it up.
Ignored everything else.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah.
You didn't find the gold tooth inset. Makeleni said,
and then you left it like that, and then you said, "Okay, I'm going to move it to one direction."
Oh, Puantanzi, man. So the assertion by Makaleni relates to suspect 2, not the first suspect. So Mnisi introduced a letter from the LPC, the one that is said to be that of Mjiako, as an exhibit into the record, the one he was talking about yesterday. So Mnisi repeated to Gininda the very same question that he said, I don't want to labor this point. But I put it to you that in terms of the descriptions of the person who had the gun by the occupants is consistent. A dark-skinned person who had dreadlocks, that is common denominator which runs throughout their descriptions. I put it to you. And Gininda said, I disagree. Not all of them. I only picked up 3 who said that he was dark. Some of the witnesses don't give the complexion of him. Gininda said that
he strives in the mystery.
Hey.
He strives. He strives in the mystery. He enjoys that. Where a lot of things is not into details, and he comes and make it into details, like the issue of dreads that were not explained. One did not explain how these dreads were, others did explain, and then he's relying on that one who did not explain the dreads. The issue of complexion, one did not explain the complexion, is relying on that one that does not have a proper explanation, or whether the person was dark or what. The others, no, I ignore them. In terms of probability, the people who are saying that the person was dark, there are many compared to people who are not explaining that. But still, he goes with the one that does not explain a lot of things. He thrives on shadows, on mysteries, in my opinion. He likes using where there is confusion. He enjoys that. He uses that.
Yeah, he loves it.
If you say there was a gun, you don't explain the wheel.
No.
He uses that.
Yes.
Whilst on his statement, he wrote a gun with the wheel.
None of the people in the house said the gun was a pistol or looked or described something that looked like a pistol.
But
Even
because
in their
they did
renewed
not
statements.
explain how the gun looked, they have now find themselves in a situation of saying that it was a pistol because they did not explain. He likes that. Like, honestly speaking, as a judge, you listen to a person who strives in such things. What judgment are you supposed to give?
Hey?
If it was me, because if it was me, I would tell him, my man, I don't think you are being genuine in most of these things because you like touching on the things that you ignore.
Yeah.
Even if there is evidence, overwhelming evidence in terms of numbers, you still ignore. You go to the side where there is a mystery.
So is the judge not supposed to tell witnesses to answer the question if they're being evasive?
He's supposed to do that.
Because it's a waste of time. I know many people would like to blame Advocate Mnisi for the wasting of time, but he finds himself having to repeat one question 5 times before
so that he get a yes
answer.
or no answer.
And the judge sees nothing wrong with that. And then he wants to complain and say, oh, we're going to spend the whole day here. We're going to spend the whole day here. But you have a witness who's being evasive, who's wasting everybody's time.
You know, I've never seen in my life a judge like that. I mean, I must say, he's a unique breed. He's a very unique breed.
Mr. Gininda, Brigadier Gininda, just answer the question, please. Answer the question. That's all. These history stories, in fact, he entertains them. He said it's fine. If the witness wants to explain, let them explain. So if the witness goes on to explain something that has to do with none of the aspects of the question that he's been asked, it's okay. He can ramble. When I rambling is important in Judge Rata's court. No direction whatsoever. Just talk about anything and everything. Even if you are not asked, it's fine. Share the information. Don't leave anything. I'm like, wow. Do you realize that part of the reason why this cross-examination is prolonging like this is because he doesn't answer questions? He does not. That again. So Gininda said that the people who were inside the house, in their affidavits, they are not saying that. Of course, with some of these affidavits having been written in 2018, we are not really shocked or surprised. It's not shocking anymore. But yeah,
nothing is shocking.
Baloyi stood to give the description of what Kelly said in her affidavit. And he read it. It said, African male in his mid-20s, dark brown, shiny complexion. He said that the word...
That's a good explanation of someone who's got a skin of long. I'm just saying.
Dark brown. Dark. You didn't hear him emphasize dark brown, Baloyi?
I mean, as if
like
that changes.
Helping.
As if that changes that you are dark.
Like it's helping. Dark brown and a shiny complexion.
And it's dark here. Is that how we can explain him? It's dark, shiny complexion. He is definitely shiny.
It does sound like his complexion that's being described here.
It's dark here. It's not dark brown.
It's not dark brown.
It's dark, shiny complexion.
But he is shiny. It's shiny complexion. Yeah, I had no idea what a shiny complexion is, but I can sample with Advocate Baloyi. Yeah. And he said that the word brown had been omitted in putting the preposition to Gininda.
We are mixing colors now. We are saying, okay, you mix brown with dark. What do you get? Dark dominates.
Dark.
It still remains that dark. The person would be darker. Would be dark. That's it.
But Ntanti is not dark brown. Unfortunately, he's not.
He's dark.
He's dark, not dark brown.
I think it's trying to.
Not
it's
shiny.
Trying, you know what is funny? It's trying to come back to accused number 3. Like he's trying to go to that direction. I'm telling you, that dark brown was supposed to change to a bit of yellow bonish nyana.
This is a mess. Yo, this is a mess. It's the fact that for me, they take people who've been writing too many statements and changing so many things in their statements more seriously. They
One can argue that maybe it was a directive, allegedly. You know, one can argue to that point because these are fairly new statements. But let me say this. I don't know. Just you see, I'm gonna say this, and I might sound very controversial because I want Mnisi to stand there as much as he can. I think now I'm going to submit this. I think with this witness, only Mnisi stands a chance. I'm going to say this, and it's unfortunate that he's in the middle. Yes, we have Mngomezulu, we have everyone who's really good. But I think, in fact, if I was to choose people who to question this guy, I would choose Mnisi and Mngomezulu. Maybe start with Mngomezulu and then finish with Mnisi. Now, it's unfortunate that we are starting to taste a good line of questioning. Yeah. Yes. And then what is going to happen? Because I saw today how not serious are the others, not taken serious by the judge and all that. Even when, others are blaming Mnisi for wanting to go and maybe pee or do something that he wanted to do. When Mshololo said, when Mshololo was standing, yes, Mshololo was assisting Mnisi, and I won't lie to, but I think it bought Mshololo more time to say whatever that you want to say after they corroborated outside, and then he comes back and question or object properly, whatever. But it seems as if the judge was smiling, the judge was laughing about that. He was laughing. Because it seems as if Mnisi was actually sitting Mshololo down. That's how you can almost sense the brutality that is coming towards Mshololo. And I'm feeling I know it's his work, it's her work, but I'm feeling sorry.
Divorce her emotions.
No, it's not even about that now. I'm feeling sorry for her already, and how the line of questioning that is going to be coming there going to be made a mockery in terms of not understanding law. What is the law about that? And they are doing that to Mnisi, and Mnisi is able to stand and draw back punches. Yes. Now, for Mshololo, I feel sorry because the judge is going to do that. The judge is going to do that.
They are going to plan. You'll find these objections popping and popping and popping.
And not even objection. Gininda himself is going to come with the understanding tone of law. That's what I'm saying. I'm feeling so. But then again, if you look at Mshololo's work, it's easy. It's just to debunk the numbers. And once you debunk the numbers, you actually exonerate Kelly in any case.
And so be it.
Yeah, so you debunk the numbers, you exonerate Kelly, because then accused number 5 never called Kelly. So now they are the theory of this thing was made. This thing was the theory of intruders, robbery gone wrong stands, and then these people are gonna go down for that, because that's what an indictment is.
Yeah.
That's what an indictment says.
So can we say that there was never even an intention?
No, there was never
arresting Kelly or this mastermind theory.
There was never an intention.
It was something that was just made perhaps as a distraction, because when they build cases, there are tricks and stuff in between. So that was just the thing to waggle at the public to keep them entertained or whatever, but to make it seem like eventually she's going to get arrested, knowing very well that they were never going to arrest her.
No, they were never going to arrest her.
It would explain a lot of things. It would explain what has been happening, particularly with her, because a lot of people have been asking, why doesn't it seem like she's worried? It would explain a lot of things. That's all I'm saying. Her life is going on as normal, you know. It's not interrupted in any way. No. No, life is cruising. And on top of that, some people are even asking, why is she not cancelled? Why is she not? Perhaps this is why.
No,
This
she
is
can never
why.
be cancelled.
She knew that they have nothing on me in that direction. It's just the show.
Yeah,
It's a show for the public.
yeah. It's the pain that is gonna have to take, and it ends there. You know, it's gonna end there.
Izophelele moyeni. Because that's the attitude that she's been giving. Izophelele moyeni. It's just gonna be like pa 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 poof. And that's what I'm sensing right now.
No, I know that there are people who really support. I'm sure, and I've grown. I've learned to like her too. But I'm saying this not because I'm thinking she's not competent. No. I'm saying this because
You must.
it's like having a player. You know, this player can play on a normal surface. Let's say, let me put it like this. You know that player can play. And then you go to Africa, other countries like Congo. Like let's say you have Bo Mofokeng.
Yeah.
You know, in Congo, players like Bo Mofokeng, you don't play them for long, or you don't play them at all. There are players that you would actually like to play that side because you want to come back with a win. The environment there is probably is harsher. You know, so you don't want to ruin their confidence. So I'm saying this. I feel like that even the defense created this on purpose. Mnisi being a central of everything. Mnisi, if you look at how Mnisi is questioning there, he is a central of this whole cross-examination of Gininda. It's not a mistake. They know what is happening. So they gave almost a lot of good things to him and say, go hard as you can. We are also opening our clients as much as we can to you. You can question, and that is something that must be agreed upon.
Yes.
You know, so Msholo is gonna come. You know, it's gonna be. I'm predicting. It's like having a pick, and then when Msholo comes, they're gonna make him, and I'm saying they're gonna make her. I'm saying this with the most respect. They're gonna make her look like she's the one who deflated. At least there is one thing that is positive about this whole cross-examination, is that we have Ngomezulu to end it.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to have Mnisi to end it. Again, it's unfortunate I cannot have it both ways. But Umshololo there is being undermined in that court. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, the pain that she goes through, going through these things, and we are saying she must be emotionally intelligent. But as much as we are saying that, it's I mean, at the end of the day, people are taking your English, people are taking your knowledge of law, the same thing that you are practicing.
Yes.
It's a very, and it's like you are challenged because you are a woman. You know, at some point it feels like that.
I feel like as much as that is the case, and I agree 100%. I agree they do, but now we are in a era where we understand that we are being attacked. I don't know if I'm how to put it in a way that I don't sound like I'm irreconsiderate of her feelings. But in a war, there comes a time where you know that it's time to study the enemy. It's time to let everything fall on you like water, but the water doesn't penetrate.
No, man, you cannot. You know, I think the way, Emil, you know, there are few people, and I'm gonna say this: there are few people who are able to do what Mnisi is doing. Few. You can go fetch a lot of lawyers. Few people, and those lawyers are normally the ones that are expensive, like who are used to go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
People like that. Yeah, Constitutional Court. those people are able to argue
Where
most of the time.
the emotion, they don't get emotional.
Even them, they do get emotional. Even them, they do get emotional. We watch this case that is currently happening. It does get there when you feel that the judge is undermining you and you need to call them into order. But then imagine having to go do what Ngugai Toby did to that other. I'm not saying that the judge was undermining me. I like the judge. The judge was just hands-on. He was asking proper questions. Unfortunately, sometimes it does not sit well with people. But imagine having to tell that to Rat what will happen in that court. He is not emotionally ready for me to even receive such a thing. And then you might find yourself in a position of diff.
Manja, what do you propose that Advocate Mshololo does?
I'm worried. I've been thinking about it. Which says Khumalo, who's very good, who also has his own
problem of looking for approval from the very same person who opposes.
And I'm worried for them, but it's someone can say it's their job. But yeah, what is coming? I'm telling you, you're gonna be hearing people saying things on Twitter. Hey, these lawyers, this, and it starts right when Mshololo is cross-examining. Yes, there are people who really believe, and I believe in her now, in the line of questioning, and she's got. But the problem is that, what Mnisi is doing, bruh.
It's not easy, ne?
It's not easy, but let's wait and see.
Alrighty, guys. Then Mnisi moved on now. He said that throughout your testimony, you mentioned that Khumalo is the mastermind behind the death of Senzo Meyiwa. And Gininda said, yes, my lord, based on the investigation, not my assumption. I think I made reference to where her name comes from accused number 1, and obviously the investigation. Then Mnisi asked him, is this a narrative shared by the prosecutors who assisted you in the investigation? Baloyi objected. Abanala, it was starting to get very warm. Baloyi objected, saying that he doesn't see the relevance of the question as there was a decision to prosecute the current accused before court. As to what view the prosecuting team has, it's irrelevant and they have to focus on the accused that are before this court. Then Mnisi said that his colleague should not misunderstand him as someone who is not concentrating on this case. Mnisi said that the witnesses testified many times that there were certain things he didn't do because he didn't have instructions from the prosecutors. And Gininda constantly said that Khumalo is the kingpin in the assassination of the deceased. Mnisi said, I don't know on what basis it is alleged that the question I'm asking him. I want to know if the perpetrators shared the same view that Khumalo was the kingpin. I don't know why they say it's irrelevant. Mnisi said that was the team of the prosecutors part of the narrative that Khumalo was the kingpin. While Gininda said that he wouldn't say that there was a narrative from prosecutors, evidence that was collected at some stage, as indicated, was presented to the DPP, and further instructions insofar as Khumalo were given up to the statement which he made in November, indicating that there was no decision taken at that stage to bless the arrest of Miss Khumalo. Then, so there was no objection. It was a case of further instructions and adaptation that the NPA was taking at the time. Mnisi said that he did not get his answer and he asked the question again. The question was very clear. Was the team of the prosecutors, was it their viewpoint that Khumalo was the kingpin in the assassination of the deceased? Did they hold that view in terms of the discussion? Was it their narrative as well that Khumalo was the kingpin? Baloyi objected again, saying that Gininda answered that question, even though all of us, I'll speak for myself. I did not hear anything that he was saying. Guys, did that answer make sense? Did it make sense at all?
What you wanted to say is that there was no... He wanted to say there was no such thing put on the table. Let me put it like that. In terms of their discussion, but he just didn't want to answer it. There's no other way of putting it. He just didn't want to answer it.
Well, Baloy said, must he repeat his answer? If so, what is the reason why he should repeat the answer that has already been given? What answer, Baloy, has been given? What answer? What is it?
Everything's an answer in that court. Chico, thank you very much for your gift. We appreciate it. And just a reminder, please, let's like the video, guys. We are doing great. Let us push to 300 now. We are on 240. So let us push to 300 now.
Well, Mnisi said, maybe I didn't get your answer. There's nothing wrong with asking you to repeat your answer. There's nothing wrong with asking a witness to kindly repeat their answer. Gininda said the essence of my response is that there was no decision taken. Insofar as the sharing of the narrative, what I know is that I presented to them and the responses I got. Mnisi said, was it part of the prosecutor's narrative who assisted you that accused number 1 is involved in the commission of this case? Baloy stood again to object, saying that accused number 1 has been charged and what's the relevance of the question? The court has referred to the case. Then the judge added that the case of Azaf, the one he recommended from 1970, this is 1974, the apartheid case. He had a problem with Mnisi repeating the question and saying that he was going to take Gininda to standard 3. Well, he said, here is a brigadier being referred to as a standard 3.
There is no one who referred.
Like a standard 3.
There is no one who referred Gininda to standard 3. That was just, let us take it to. Let us break it down.
The question.
Let us break it down.
3.
Yeah.
Let us break down the question. Let us simplify the question. Because we're not getting an answer. That's what it meant. But somehow the judge has a way.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Zozo
Mahlangu, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, could somehow he finds this way of twisting the words and just making the defense look like, they are not SAHT. He has a way.
He's the only one who knows English there in that court, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Mnisi didn't say that, honestly speaking. He didn't say that Gininda has standard 3. I don't know where it came from. But then Mnisi said that he meant, let's take it step by step. He said he wanted to simplify the question.
Yes.
Let us not make a mountain out of an ant's mole, and he apologized to Gininda if he offended him, and then he repeated the question again. Yeah, he had to apologize. What can he do? What can he do when he's busy being casted with aspersions? What else can he do? So Baloy stood yet again asking what was the relevance of the question. Muhurutse,
thank you very much for your generous gift. Thank you. God bless you. God bless everyone that has given. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. We see you.
Muhurutse, thank you so much. Highly appreciated.
Yes.
Then Baloy stood yet again asking what was the relevance of the question, and Mnisi repeated the question. Gininda said, my lord, all the accused, when the memorandum was taken to the DPP, there was a decision to indict them on the 5 charges before court. Insofar as khumalo, further instructions were given to me to do so. Subsequent to that, the warrant was not signed, but there was never an objection to say, don't pursue this. There was a desire to say, let's get more evidence to connect her. Hence, I said before, these accused appeared in October. We had some evidence against Miss Khumalo, which I explained in this court.
Vusutando, thank you very much. We appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you. Keep on supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Vusotando. Thank you so much. May God continue to bless you all indeed. Thank you, guys. And later in November, we had more. We even dealt with cell phone numbers that was part of the prosecutorial-driven investigation. So there was a working together between myself and the prosecution. But insofar as the decision that lies with the NPA, then Mnisi asked him, I'm struggling to get the answer if Kelly Khumalo was the kingpin, whether she was part of the narrative that the office of the DPP Pretoria had when they decided on this matter. I don't know what's the difficulty in getting an answer. Mnisi said that he was still struggling to get an answer, and Baloyi objected again, saying that the discretion to charge lies with the Director of Public Prosecutions. He presented a memo and the decision was taken by the DPP. He cannot take it any further. He said that he cannot go into the minds of the office of the DPP. He said, I think, unfortunately, my learned friend will have to live with that answer. Baloyi passionately blocking Gininda from commenting on anything, whether or not the DPP office was of the belief of this narrative that Kelly Khumalo was the mastermind.
Since it was a prosecutorial driven.
He's participating in the blockage. As much as Gininda is not answering the question, at the same time, here comes the lawyer covering that aspect from being explored. And we are supposed to leave their side, to take their side while they do stuff like this. Then Mnisi said, unfortunately, I'm not prepared to live with that answer. But I do realize that this is a very difficult one.
It is. It is.
You know, the reason why I'm asking this, explaining to Gininda, is because in terms of law, when a person gets indicted at the High Court, the state must inform the court of facts that they are basing their allegations on. That's the law. That's why I'm asking. Gininda said, I understand. My part as an investigating officer was done. It's separation of powers issue. A decision was taken by the NPA. I don't know how I should speak on behalf of them. And Mnisi said part of the instruction of the indictment was that they should be arraigned for trial in the High Court. Gininda said he was not sure and would not dispute that. Mnisi then said, when you submitted that document, was it part of your investigation that you submitted to the DPP before they took that decision that Kelly Khumalo was complicit in the murder of Senzo Meyiwa? Gininda said, yes, I presented all the evidence as it is, and I indicated part of my request was that she be charged, but there were further instructions insofar as concerned as at that stage. Mnisi then asked him, based on your investigation, you were satisfied that there were reasonable grounds to believe suspicion that she or was complicit in the murder of the deceased. Gininda said, yes, he was. Mnisi wanted to read the subsection of the Criminal Procedure Act, which is called the Summary of Substantial Facts. Apparently, it's on the indictment. It's a summary of the main points of what led to
the arrest
and the case going to trial. Baloyi objected, asking what has it got to do with the evidence. He said that his current line of evidence is irrelevant to this witness. This to me is a major red flag. Why am I saying it's a red flag? The Director of Public Prosecutions goes through the docket, goes through everything that was done by the investigating officer.
Yes.
They have meetings with the investigating officer. They pick whatever they pick and they put it in that summary to make the case have a bit of weight, right?
Yeah.
And then the investigating officer is told that he can't comment on what made them believe that they have a case.
On the basis of what he submitted. Actually, that's where Mnisi was coming from, saying that what you submitted, let us look at it. Yes, the decision did not lie with you, but let us look at what you submitted.
Why is Advocate Baloyi stopping Gininda from commenting? What is he hiding? This shouldn't be a problem, guys. It shouldn't be this difficult. What is going on? That's a red flag for me. I'm like, it seems like, and I'm going to speculate. I'm going in the speculative direction. It seems like the Director of Public Prosecution was just doing his thing. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? They were calling the shots.
Yeah.
It's a red flag. It's something that I cannot ignore and act like, ooh, things happen like this, it's normal. It seems like they did whatever they wanted to do, and the IO was just following instructions.
The guilty ones
Do you
are
understand?
afraid.
It's very, 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 very weird. It's a red flag. Then Mnisi said that it was a misrepresentation of facts, that objection that Advocate Baloyi raised. And Mnisi said, what line of his cross-examination has got to do with this case? He said that the whatever Mnisi is talking about, this line of cross-examination, what he's trying to do is it has nothing to do with the case. But how? How has it not got anything to do with the case? That is important. And he dared his colleague Mnisi to say what he wanted to ask now had nothing to do with this case. Then he said, yeah, they're making a mistake, but everything so far has to do with this case. Unless, of course, the guilty are afraid. Baloyi said that he does not know what daring and guilty refers to. The judge asked him to read section 104. But before he could do that,
Section
he said,
104. Section 104. Respect, 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 respect. That's what it says.
no, the DPP must answer. The DPP, it's a lot of work doing that indictment. It's a lot of work doing that indictment. And they have to... The investigating officer has to understand what happened before they even go and testify. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if the investigating officer is unable to explain the summary on that indictment, it's a problem. We're talking about a summary here. We're not talking about the entire indictment. We're talking about a summary that is mainly based on the work that the investigating officer did.
All right. Just to disturb you, Emil. Chuku Anna. Now that I see you on the comments,
yes.
Please be in touch with us on the site. Not after the show. I'll just say you can be tomorrow or today. No, today. Whenever you're available.
Please send us a WhatsApp.
Please send us a WhatsApp. We would like to talk to you. I see you. You're here. So I was waiting for you. Please be in touch with us. It has nothing to do with this show.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the show. Just use that WhatsApp number down on the screen and let us know that it's me. It's Chuku Anna.
Thank you.
So yes, and they said that what the DPP has decided and what they have formulated in the indictment and the summary of substantial facts has absolutely nothing to do with this witness. He said that it was irrelevant to the witness that he was not party to the compilation of the summary of substantive fact and the indictment. He said that the line of cross-examination should be disallowed. Why disallowed, Advocate Baloyi? Kanti yini kahle kahle lento nifihlayo ngale indictment and everything else? What is going on? Then he went on to read whatever the judge instructed him to read. It was very long. I had no time to even care for what was going on there. Mr. Anonymous, did you have a summary or something? I didn't care. I honestly passed it. Okay.
I muted
listening. It.
Yeah, you just
switched off. I waited for him to finish because I was like, what is going on here? I don't want to hear this. You need to tell us why Brigadier Gininda can't answer questions relating to the summary. Then Mnisi said that the accused had been prejudiced and they're in court to answer the allegation in the summary of the substantial fact. And there's nowhere in that summary where Kelly Khumalo is mentioned as a kingpin. In that summary of substantial fact, Kelly is mentioned as a victim. So Mnisi then said, that's why I'm asking that in the very inception, in the preparation of the substantial facts, and the state was aware that Kelly Khumalo was the kingpin. So when it decided to draw up this summary of substantial facts, that should have been a factor to have been taken into account so that when the accused come and answer the allegations against them, they know that amongst others, we are before this court to answer to the allegations that we were in consort. We worked together with Kelly Khumalo to assassinate Senzo Meyiwa, and that is not there. They are now expected to answer to something that was not put to them at the beginning of the trial. There is nowhere where they are called upon to come and answer that they work together with Kelly Khumalo. He said, I'm not trying to indict any person. Without Kelly Khumalo, we would not have been here, as per the testimony of Brigadier Gininda.
Yeah.
According to Brigadier Gininda, without Kelly Khumalo, there would not have been anyone to entice them to go and kill Senzo. But that is not contained in the summary of substantial facts. So here I'm getting a sense also that this was very much intentional, in my opinion and my speculation.
Yeah.
Because it is screaming to me that there are so many cases in this country alone where people are caught who have done the job, but the mastermind is never found. A lot of that thing happens in this country. So I'm getting a sense that this is the direction where this was headed, where you would find people guilty but not care for the mastermind. Even if you allude to the mastermind in the court.
Typical South African courts most of the time.
We have a pattern of this in our country where the masterminds are never found. They continue with their lives and homonati, and people they take the crime, they take the punishment. This is giving me that direction, that this is where this was headed to.
It seems as if he is.
Yeah. Then the judge said, Mnisi, if he asked for further particulars when his client was served with an indictment.
What the hell?
Well, Mnisi said that there's nowhere
they were supposed to sangomarize.
Even though the prosecutor decided to not give them everything. They were supposed to sangomarize it and preempt that, no, Mr. Balo, is there anything else that you would like to tell us? Even though he did not want to. And according to the law, apparently he's not obligated to. He doesn't have to. But they were supposed to sangomarize it and be like, preempt that something is hidden and then ask for it. Weird things that are happening in that court. Then Mnisi said there is nowhere in the indictment that is mentioned that Kelly Khumalo is a kingpin. Had that been mentioned from the onset, we would have definitely requested further particulars. Nowhere is it mentioned that Kelly Khumalo is a suspect. Instead, in the indictment, it is mentioned that she's a witness. How would we then request further particulars when we did not know that in the mind of the investigating officer, Kelly Khumalo is a kingpin? In the mind of an investigating officer. Mnisi. Guys, you don't understand how I feel. Then the judge said, but Kelly Khumalo is not charged. I don't see her. Mnisi said, yes, she's not charged. Then the judge said, so why should I respond to that? I only respond to the persons that are charged. Kelly Khumalo, I don't know. Then he told Mnisi to ask the witness every question that he wanted to ask him.
As if what, Digida, throwing the toys up.
Whatever you want to ask him, ask him. I don't care anymore. This is embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
All the way from a judge. I can see lawyers doing to each other. This is how it's supposed to be. Lawyers are supposed to be lawyering. Do you understand what I'm saying? But in that court,
the judge dissent.
I don't understand what is happening. Every day I'm baffled. Every day I'm shocked. Every day I'm like, yo, I now understand why people don't want to go to court.
It's scary.
Then Mnisi asked for a short adjournment and said that he needed to respond to the call of nature. However, Mshololo wanted to raise something, a point, to try and support Mnisi. But Mnisi was like, it's killing me. You know, he wanted to go. He wanted to. But Mr. Anonymous, you already tapped into it.
Yes. You know, there was nothing untoward there.
Yeah,
it was just... Yeah. I think it helped in a sense. That's what Mnisi was trying to run away from, to say, it's fine. Let us go and consolidate.
Because when she came back after the adjournment, she came back with a law She came back with something to back up her argument because they are seeing, Mnisi's kind of seeing what's going on.
Yeah, that court, it's not friendly. For them, for the defense, shame.
So it gave Mshololo time to go look for the law, the appropriate to go and quote from. So she read the provisions of section 144 subsection 3 and said that the substantial facts have been read into the record to inform accused of the allegations against them. The judge said that summary of facts does not bind the state because we are including evidence in our argument. Well, then Mshololo said, my submission is that if on the list of substantial facts, there's an allegation specifically wherein it refers to Ms. Kelly Khumalo as a complainant, as is referred to here, my submission is that the defense should be allowed to seek clarity to the witness on the issues that appear on the substantial facts. The state objected, which is Baloyi, saying that legal points are being raised during cross-examination from the judge's mouth to Advocate Baloyi's lips. Right?
It flies. They finish each other's.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. The love is beautiful.
Yes. He said we should focus on the cross-examination. If they want to raise legal arguments, they should file heads of argument where we all respond. So now he wanted it to be a heads of arguments thing. Why? I don't think that is necessary. Well,
because there's always a one winner when it comes to argument.
Well, the judge said that he does not want to be accused of being unfair, even if he understands differently from what is being argued here. He said that he is here to decide on merits and told Mnisi to ask the witness anything he wants, since he said that there is nothing that he has touched that does not concern the case. He's ruling that he can ask anything. But then Mnisi said, I need to be mindful to the fact that whatever I ask, it must be relevant. Again, the state keeps objecting on the basis of relevancy. So the judges said, when it comes to the relevancy, then they will have problems. Then Mnisi said that he realizes that he will never get an answer for that DPP question.
Yeah, because it seems as if the DPP would have hired a defense, allegedly. Please, let's like the video. Because, what is left is, for me, it seems as if even the DPP is as Sizwe is saying here, is also protecting or defending. Got a proper defender. And then everything works out for good.
Hey, guys.
It is alleged.
Said the DPP was privy to the fact that Kelly is a kingpin and when they decided to take this case. Well, Mnisi proceeded and said, now in terms of your testimony, you mentioned that Kelly was a kingpin. Is that not so? And Gininda said, yes, my lord, evidence we collected suggested that she is a trigger point. Now, in terms of your investigation, could you find any motive of why Kelly wanted to kill Senzo? Gininda said, no, my lord, we looked at the number of things. That is why we would recall even the reading of the text messages between her and her sister. But to say we found one specific motive, we've not gotten that. We are still investigating anyway. Interesting how to paint Kelly Khumalo as a kingpin is now being brought up, and they are using Zandi's text messages that she was receiving from her sister to back it up. And yet Miss Lorraine is still dululu over the fact that she was throwing her sister under the bus. What was she doing?
It's fine. Let's not talk about that one.
Well, she said that now, Mnisi said that now Zandi Khumalo, Tumelo Madlala and Twala said upon Senzo being shot, Kelly was hysterical and assisted in carrying the deceased. I was like, okay. I was thrown off guard with this. I was very surprised. Well, Mnisi was was painting this picture that I didn't think that defense would even care for, talking about how Kelly was hysterical and assisting in carrying the deceased. She drove like nobody's business. There was those testimonies in court that she was even speeding, to get him to the hospital. And at the hospital, she tried to ensure that he was assisted as quick as possible. So Mnisi said, I asked myself, the investigating officer keeps saying Kelly was the trigger point. And then what could be the motive to kill Senzo? Because they bundled the deceased into the car. Is that conduct compatible with someone who wanted someone killed? See, that's why he said, I wanted to know if this was the state's narrative from the inception of this case, that Kelly Khumalo was the kingpin. You understand?
Is he playing a player?
Playing the player and the game at the same time.
You won't understand right now, but I think I know why.
Why?
That narrative was pushed in that court that day. Because if I say it now, in any case, then it defeats it.
Okay, don't say it.
But let me put it like this. In Zulu, we say intombi ishela ngamagama. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. Then Gininda said, as I said, I cannot speak on behalf of the NPA. The decision lies with them. The docket was forwarded with all the information, including that of Miss Kelly Khumalo. No decision insofar as her position was taken. Gininda said, now, with regard to the naming of Miss Kelly Khumalo as a kingpin, the evidence, it is not my assertion. It is not me who stood up and said, I'm going to pursue Miss Kelly Khumalo. I indicated way back that initially when we started this investigation, it looked like it was a robbery gone wrong. Fast track to accused 1 and 2, it was through them that the first time we heard of the name Miss Kelly Khumalo came in as a trigger point. That's where the investigation into Miss Kelly Khumalo came in. Then the links, the cell phone analysis. I can establish the link between accused 5 and Kelly Khumalo with regard to those 2 calls. Then there was this see-through bag of money, which
and
is
it's
a common
brought back
link.
now. Yesterday it was almost nothing.
Yes,
now it
it's
is
resuscitating it.
It's
again.
bringing it back.
And Kelly Khumalo. That's what I'm talking about. He said you cannot ignore that. To say it's not true, evidence that was collected, not my thinking that supported that there was a trigger point from Miss Kelly Khumalo. He said it's not his thinking. It was evidence that was collected. I don't think he the bravado to still call this evidence, but it's fine. Then Gininda said, when I say her name came up, it was labeled as the mastermind. Now, with regard to the naming of Miss Kelly Khumalo as a kingpin, the evidence, it is not my ascension. It is not me who stood up and said, I'm going to pursue Miss Kelly Khumalo. I indicated way back initially that we started the investigation. It looked like it was a robbery gone wrong. Then fast track. Then the links of the cell phone, then the cell phone analysis. He said he could establish the link between accused 5 and Kelly Khumalo with regard to those 2 calls. And also, that's what I'm talking about. You cannot ignore to say that it's not true. Evidence that was collected, it's not my thinking, supported that there was a trigger point from Miss Kelly Khumalo. And there's another point that he said as he was giving these long answers. He said that they were calling Kelly Khumalo sisters. So he also used that as a link or as whatever, linkage. Another one. Sisters, I get in the confessions, there's a part where they were saying that they were referring to Kelly Khumalo as sisters. Gininda said, in as much as I hear...
Yes, the situation when we grew up, when we grew up, we used to be told stories that there were players who would kick the corner kick and go and head it and score a goal. I've never seen such due to the depth of the pitch, but...
Now you're seeing it.
But I think without the ball, I'm seeing it.
Without the ball.
you just kick and go and wait for your corner kick, and you header it, you score. You score. The sisters. You listen to this confession. It just screams a Joburg person. Most of them sisters. Like imagine umuntu abasho ukuthi usisi but your sisters. No, there's just think about that, sisters, and they wrote that statement. It's them who wrote it. Sisters.
Hi guys.
Sikhuluma ngamabhinqa amagidangoma la.
Hey.
Sisters.
Hayi nami ngiqala ukuyiva.
Asiqhubeke.
But be the judge. Be your own judge. Gininda said, in as much as I hear what Advocate Mnisi is saying on how he described Miss Kelly Khumalo, he acted after the indictment, after the allegations came up in the confession. Investigations were done in the search for the truth, and he said he couldn't find a reasonable explanation as to what was Miss Kelly Khumalo's relationship with accused 5. Mr. Anonymous, I think we should open the lines now.
Do you want to open the lines?
Let us open the lines.
You're done?
I'm not done, but I feel like this is a lot.
No, continue. I'm sorry, continue.
This is a lot to go through. I feel like I am tired.
Just go through it. I'm sorry.
I'm feeling like Mr. Mnisi at the end there before the adjournment. It's like I'm tired.
No, continue for the sake of completeness.
Okay, Gininda said that what the calls were about in terms of the relationship, he said he could not find the reasons as to why there were these similarities in the picture of money appearing on the phone downloads of Kelly Khumalo and accused 3 and Longwe. He said he could not find a reasonable explanation as to why the cell phone numbers picked up by the expert. He said when we looked at the calls, we could not find the accused except the calls of the 2nd of August and the 15th of October on her number that came from accused 5, but the calls of that specific day we could not find. It's the delulu for me of continuing to talk about these calls, even though Pinky Fine Telengem from Vodacom could not find them, and then Stein comes and tells us about WhatsApp calls from 2040. It's the confidence to go ahead and talk about these phone calls that literally, in our opinion, don't exist.
They're spooks.
Then Gininda said that when they widened the investigations, which revealed that there were a number that she was using on that day, and unfortunately, because police were not aware at the time, they could not get those numbers. That link could not be established. And when they came to know about them, the window period had passed and they could not get the actual handset to actually do the download. Wait,
listen to that dumb argument. I'm sorry, it's not dumb, but it is dumb. You have section 205 of accused number 3, right?
Yes.
Even if you cannot find Kelly's section 205, but you can be able to link.
You have that of accused number 3 from 2014. They pulled it, they downloaded it.
And yet Kelly has 8 numbers. What are you trying to say? He had 15, 20 numbers.
These people, they are stressing me. My BP is going very high. And Gininda said, now if you take the facts, which I have just mentioned that were revealed by the investigation, you cannot ignore the fact that there is something untoward. And that is why then I made an application for J50 for Miss Kelly Khumalo to be added as one of the accused.
Hi, Chiguana. The WhatsApp number is 067 619 0343. That's WhatsApp number 067 619 0343, and it's just scrolling below. It's not the 071. The 071 is a call.
Yes.
The WhatsApp number is 067 619 0343.
Yes. And he said at some point that he could not find a reasonable explanation as to why Longwe, Kelly, and accused number 3 have the same picture. He gave an example of colleagues having one picture, but then he said because they have no relation or ties to each other from homelands, he could not find this relation between accused 3, Kelly and Longwe, and how he connected them with the similar picture he found on their phone. So he was trying to justify how he found that suspicious. Of all the things that are very suspicious in this case, you decide to put your focus on a picture that proves nothing at the end of the day. Oh my God. I am exhausted. Well, then Gininda said, if you investigate, you do your best to find the truth. Mnisi handed Gininda his affidavit and asked him to confirm it by confirming its contents and confirming his signature. The judge said that he authenticated the document, not in terms of the law, because Mnisi was doing it in that type of way of giving it to him, having him look at it and confirm it. But then the judge was like, that's not procedural. We don't do it like that in the court. He has to ask him one by one. Is it you who wrote this? Can you confirm the correctness of the details inside the affidavit? Is that your signature? Were you there when it was commissioned? Those 3 questions. So Mnisi eventually did them. But then Gininda now started saying that when he was asked about the correctness of the document, that he referred to the numbers of the accused. He does not have the profiling to refer to. So he was saying that literally he doesn't know the numbers of the accused that are in that statement. This is his affidavit, by the way. He said he doesn't recall and he would not be able to. I'm like, Aibo, Kathleen.
He wanted to deny it. Deny. I've never seen such a thing.
Aibo, Kathleen, Mnisi had to work. He had to work very hard, okay, to make him accept the correctness of his statement. No? Okay. The process was difficult, because I mean, it didn't have to be, but it was. And Mnisi said he does not want to be on a slippery slope. Then Gininda said that he confirmed, but he still maintained that he does not remember the numbers. It's a game. It's a game. And but he asked that the affidavit be handed up after he is done. Well, Mnisi read the part where he said the witnesses stated that one of the suspects was getting a firearm purporting to be a revolver. This accused was described as a black male with a big eyes, dreadlocks, wearing a khaki or brown jacket, top and a hat. He was shorter in height than the second suspect. Is this all that you got about the description of the suspect that you are now conveying to the magistrate? Gininda said, I'm not sure when you say all, it is in terms of the statement of the witness. Then the answer is no, because I was summarizing. Gininda still maintained that everything is found in the witness statements. It's a summary of what the people in the house were saying.
T. Brownskin is finishing you with BP medicine for Emily as a gift. So, yeah, that's a BP medicine for you.
Hey guys, hi. I remember Rosemary in the courtroom.
Yeah, this is for you to continue. Finish that thing.
Thank you very much. Hey, this trial, guys. Oh, I'm a lead investigator. I shame. I'm Ow, cause. Then Mnisi said, what did the witnesses in the house say about the skin complexion of this person that is describing or being described to the magistrate in your affidavit? And Gininda said that he had indicated that about 3 of the people from the house said dark and the other ones did not mention the complexion. There were also a mention of dark brown. The one that Maloi was quoting, by the way.
Dark brown, shiny.
And they did not mention that the first suspect was dark in complexion. And then Mnisi asked him, was it by mistake that you decided not to tell the magistrate in your support of your application that this person that I'm deserving here by, I was told by three witnesses that he had a dark skin and that he said that he had a dark brown skin, that the others could not describe his skin color. Baloyi stood to object, saying that he gave a summary and must he now give details? Yes, he must give details. This is a court
he
where
gave a summary. Now he should give the details.
Why was the judge quiet? The kid is the one who wants people to give details.
Yeah.
Well, he said that it's an unfair question given it was just a summary to the magistrate. And then Mnisi argued that the objection of the state is based on the fact that the state did not think it was necessary to give those little details about the description of the suspect. But if it was deemed necessary to speak about dreadlocks, how could it not have been necessary to speak about skin color? The judge asked if he should mention each and every detail in the summary.
Oh, sorry, my God.
Because he was even giving an example of how
defense mode.
The witness must now say that they had legs, they walked like ing. And I'm like, but
defense mode.
But what happened, Judge? You are the one who wanted the details. How come with this witness you no longer
No, he
want
doesn't want them anymore. But it's good for
the geese.
For the geese.
It's not good for the gender.
No, it's not good for the gender.
This court, what is good for the geese is not good for the gender. No.
I like that. I'm gonna be using that a lot when I'm presenting.
The geese must be good for the gender.
What is good for the geese? It must be good for the gender. This court is teaching us a lot of things.
English,
if we had a lot of courts, if we had a lot of cases like this, I mean, we would be better.
English, my English has improved 1,000%.
That is good for the. That's good.
Oh, it's good for the
gender.
It's good for the gender.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, the judge asked if he should mention each and every detail in the summary and asked Baloyi to read section 205, the requirements of issuing of a warrant. He kept saying that otherwise they are going to be here the whole day, and every time Mnisi would argue Baloyi's objections, no kare hey, hi, he hated it every time Mnisi would object and would argue Baloyi's objections. But then, otherwise you're going to be here the whole day, you know? And then Baloyi read it, and Mnisi asked about why he did not tell the magistrate about the dark complexion. Baloyi objected again, and Mnisi said that it was a gross misunderstanding of the law. What Baloyi read, it has nothing to do with the person who's requested to give the information, not what is contained in the affidavit. And Gininda still maintained that it was a summary. Okay, and then Mnisi said nothing contained in that affidavit has got to do with accused number 3. He said all I'm asking is why it did not include the skin, the complexion, okay, the skin color. Gininda said that he had answers. It's a summary. He had answered that it's a summary, and Gininda said it's a while the summary of substantial evidence said that it was a robbery gone wrong. Baloyi objected, saying that the motive for the commission of an offense may not be disclosed by the state in the formulation of the charges. So literally what he was saying here is that they are not obligated to release everything, release every single charge, or not even a charge. How do I put it? Every single
detail of how this case was built,
of the charge against them. So how are they supposed to build a defense?
How are they supposed to formulate their defense? What are they
How
defending?
How are they supposed to do that?
Against?
You are misleading them in a way. You are saying, I'm going in this direction. They prepare for that direction. And is this a fair trial?
No, it was never fair from the beginning.
Well, whatever the motive was is irrelevant. Even someone was murdered, that the motive was is absolutely irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that murder was committed. He said that what Mnisi is trying to elicit for the witnesses to is in keeping with what the law says. The law says motive for commission of an offense is irrelevant. This is where I went cold. This is where I was like,
That's your law.
motive is irrelevant.
That's your law.
Mnisi argued that it is a dire misunderstanding of the Criminal Law Amendment Act 105 of 1997. He said, if my colleague says that in an indictment you don't need to put a motive because you need to put the indictment information that will enable the accused to plead and to enable him to conduct his defense in terms of what the charge sheet says, Mnisi said that he was not talking motive in his cross-examination. And he said, I also don't know why Senzo was killed. He also doesn't know why Senzo was killed. Gininda said that he was on the contradictions. Well, Gininda responded and said it doesn't contradict his evidence in chief. But then Mnisi said it was not directed to him, but rather it was about the summary. Okay? The summary of substantial facts. That's what he was still on. And Gininda said that the theory of it being a hit instead of a robbery gone wrong, he also dealt with it when he applied for a warrant of arrest for the accused and the application of the J50, which is dated 23rd of August 2020. This is before the warrants were authorized. It is not for me to take left with the evidence while it is pointing me to the right. I cannot speak on behalf of the NPA. I think the powers, they are absolutely separated. I'm not the one who can answer to that. I can only answer to what was contained in the docket and what was presented to the magistrate. Now, if I had to went to the magistrate in Johannesburg and presented the facts which are different to what is contained in the docket, that would have been a crime. I presented these facts as they are.
Yes.
Then after the long adjournment, Mbaloi handed up the affidavit that Advocate Mnisi was using while cross-examining Brigadier Gininda. He responded to Mnisi's argument, though, about motive. Now he was saying that motive and intention should be distinguished. The minimum sentence to legislation is referring to intention and not motive. So he was saying that the law that Advocate Mnisi was using, 105 of 1997, is talking about intention and not talking about motive. And he said that the issues that they are debating are really issues that should be argued at the end of the trial. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for me because I'm thinking then I'm watching him getting, look at how he's wiggling himself out of this situation. You were wrong for saying that motive is not important.
You were wrong.
Just correct yourself.
And you are coming here. You are saying,
just correct yourself.
Let me find a way of not apologizing.
How? Can't he? How busy did he? It was wrong. It was misunderstood. It was, but no, you will go down. You will. Honestly, this attitude, Namina, it scares me, guys. It scares me. It horrifies me that there are people like this in the world who can never admit when they've made a mistake.
Same as Gininda. Thank you, Zidi. Thank you, Zidi. Anna Mohabi. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Then Mnisi said that if Kelly did not disclose the rest of her numbers, then it means she withheld information from the police. Mnisi said that you kept on saying that there are numbers of a cell phone that Kelly did not disclose to the police. Not so. And Gininda said, yes, my lord. It sounds to me, Mnisi said, like Kelly willfully held the information from the police. And Gininda said that he was not sure because the context of which the numbers were discovered through the expert is that they were active and being used on that day. Anything else, he would be speculating. What I know is that they were active and not disclosed to the investigation team at the time. They only gave 2 numbers. So here, the state have they confirmed with Vodacom if these numbers indeed belonged to Kelly?
we we know how these things are done, man. It is what it is.
Like I don't know if I recall.
It's like you are questioning the same people who have their own way of doing things.
Confirming that all of this, I remember feeling some type of way, like these are too many numbers for one person to have. But I don't recall if there was confirmation from her that indeed they do belong to Kelly, all of them. You know, I know she spoke on the runaway phone, as well as the phone that she had with her. But these other numbers that are many, I don't remember her confirming that they were recorded or they indeed were used by Kelly Khumalo, you know. So Mnisi asked for an adjournment after he proposed that since it has been a long week, Gininda can go and prepare the evidence of the photos on that indictment, because now Gininda felt like he wanted to go through all of them one by one. He was complaining about how Mnisi, this piecemeal of extracting what he feels is important to him, is not helping him. You know, he wants to go through everything in sequential form. Just how the judge prefers it. Gininda also wants the same approach. He wants everything to step by step. So with the pictures, he did say that he has stamina to continue, but Mnisi ultimately said, you know what, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him.
Yeah,
Nana was tired.
It has been a week.
Nana was tired.
It seems as if this thing started on Monday, but it started on Tuesday, right?
It started on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yo, next week where
it's gonna start from the beginning to the end. Right. Guys, if you have something to say it now, or forever hold your peace.
The lines are now open, guys.
Let's like the video though. Let's press that like button. Let us press it like we mean it. Let us reach that 400. Why not? Let us reach that 500. Why not?
Why not? Why not?
Right. Let us have the first caller. Zanzi, hello.
Hello, my lovely ones, the people that I love very much. How are you doing?
Hi. How are you?
Hi.
Oh, it's Friday. Well, it's Saturday morning for me, so I'm just sitting here watching you guys, having a cup of coffee and just laughing at some of the stuff. Please, Emily, did you just want to take a shortcut and give us a summary like Mr. Gigi?
I did. I'm tired of Gininda.
No.
I'm tired of Brigadier Gininda. It's making me tired. Every day I want to cry. I'm like, this man can't stop talking.
We don't want summaries, lady. We want the full thing. You need to give us the full thing. We don't want summaries like Gininda, okay? That's why we come here, because we're not looking for abstracted summaries. But anyway, there's just two things that really, really, really concern me that I want to talk about today.
Yeah.
The LIO, self-appointed LIO, mentioned something about IQ, and he was trying to explain why people were not able to remember things,
Yes.
and I just want to address that. Yes. Obviously there's information first enters short memory, okay, which is a temporary holding storage for recent events.
Yes.
And then some of this information is then transferred into long-term memory, which is a relatively permanent storage, much like information on a computer being placed on a hard disk, right?
Yeah.
However, when information is transferred from short-term to long-term memory, not everything will be transferred, okay?
Yes.
Short-term memory plays a vital role in shaping our ability to function in the world around us, but it's limited in terms of both capacity and duration, okay? And it can be affected by different non-permanent factors such as stress, fatigue, anxiety, and all those kind of things, right?
Yes.
And it is very brief, and it's very limited. It has limited storage, and it stores information for on average 20 to 30 seconds, at the most 1 minute, sometimes even less. Okay?
Yeah.
And then most information is, spontaneously decays quickly, and it's susceptible to interference. Okay? So if you've worked in a forensic setting, you would understand why it's important to interview people who have witnessed a crime as soon as possible.
Yes.
Okay? Some of us, some people may not have experience in forensics, but we've watched CSI, right? And we've watched shows like Test 48 and things like that. That is why when the cops come onto a scene, as soon as the detectives get on site, the cops will then say, we've got these witnesses, we've put them in the cart, and we're transporting them to the precinct for interviewing. They are interviewing people immediately because they understand how memory works, right? Because they're trying to interview people as soon as possible while they can remember as much detail as they can. And in this case, the police failed because they allowed these people to convene for more than 24 hours without being interviewed, right? That is why we're getting different pieces of information. Now, when he started talking about IQ, he was charting into murky waters. It's all right. I'll pause for a bit for somebody's upset today. All right. Okay. It's all right. It's okay. I'll pause. It's all right. It's okay. I will pause. It's okay. It's not a big deal. All right. Uh-huh.
All right, I'm the only one who's left now, guys. I'm
Okay.
trying to. Emily
All right.
is
Yes.
gone. Yeah, so.
Okay. It's all right.
I'm
Yes.
left. You can continue.
It's okay. I'm still. Yes, I'm still on the line. Yes.
Yes.
So I was just saying that when he was talking about IQ, I just felt like he was just stepping into murky waters. And when he was talking about IQ and saying that, people don't remember things as a result of IQ and stuff like that. And I was just shocked because working memory refers to the ability to use, manipulate, and apply memory for a period of time. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is just one component of IQ. Okay? Somebody may have low working memory, but they can have high perceptual reasoning.
Yeah.
So that's for him to say that people don't remember because of IQ. I was just quite a bit shocked and in dismay that what in the hell is this guy talking about? You know what I mean? Because he's trying to be the master of everything. He's the prosecutor, he's the lawyer, he's the LIO, he's the DNA expert, he's everything. So that's why sometimes he just talks about stuff that he shouldn't even be talking about.
Yeah.
If anybody is interested, they can go and read up on something called the Badley Hitch model of working memory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then the prosecutor, Baloyi, I was shocked when he said motive is not important. What in the hell can you bring a case to court and unashamedly tell people that motive doesn't matter? Because when the cops investigate a case, they look for motive, which is the reason why a person would have committed a crime, such as financial gain or revenge. They look at means, the tools, skills, or physical capabilities that are needed to commit the crime. And then they also look at opportunity, which is there a chance to commit the crime, such as being at the crime scene when it happens? For example, a car hijacker's motive may be to get money, right? But they need to have a means to carjack you. which is maybe they need to have a weapon to be able to do that. And the opportunity to commit the crime would be at the crime scene, which is at a mall or on your driveway.
Yes.
So I was quite shocked that, you know, Baloyi is standing there and saying that motive doesn't matter. So then why did he bring, is he telling us that a case is at court, but they don't have a motive for why they have those guys sitting there? Then why are those guys there? I'm shocked.
It seems as if it does not matter why they are there. What matters is what,
You know what?
Is what they did.
So they're just gonna be bringing people. So people are just being brought to court without even knowing why they are there.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm just so happy that Mnisi pressed him on the summary thing. Like, if you want to get, I don't know why he was presenting the paper to the magistrate, because sometimes I miss stuff when he's talking about stuff because I can't follow him. But why would you leave out important details about somebody's features?
Yes.
Why would you leave it out? Because that's important. Because even when you write a summary, anybody who's written a paper would know that when you write a paper, you write an abstract.
Yes.
An abstract is the first thing that somebody reads before they read your paper.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you got to put the most important things in an abstract. So the abstract is a summary. So if he was indeed summarizing, why would he leave out important details about the features of the alleged perpetrators? To me, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Why? They just need to throw this case into the dumpster and just forget about it. Oh, wow, guys, you're doing such a great job.
Are they capable of doing
analyzing?
That, are they capable of drawing?
I don't think so.
Rata.
I mean, Mr. Ano, I'm just in disbelief. I'm just shocked that this thing is going on and on and on and on and on. And you can actually see that there's no case. There's nothing.
There's no case. But we are here.
Guys, thank you thank you so much for being able to sit through the drivel every day. Because if you guys were not doing this, I wouldn't know what is going on, because I try to sit there and follow this thing, but I can't. I really can't follow him. He's confusing me.
It is hard to follow.
Oh, anyway, it is hard, and you guys are doing a great job. I love you so much, and you take care, and I'll see you on the next one. I love you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Let me take another favorite caller. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello.
Hey, hello, Mr. Anonymous.
Hi, how are you?
As you say, you are. I'm good, man. Yourself?
I'm all right.
I see that you in Senzo tonight.
Yeah.
With Emily, that just went out.
Yeah, it's difficult.
No,
it's difficult.
What a 4 days. Yeah, what a 4 days. What a 4 days. No, it gets to be difficult, especially after a day like today.
Yes.
Well, a week like this week, especially with having 4 days.
And
not even full 4 days, eh?
No,
because
not at all.
At some times it ended up very, very abruptly, or the fatigue is kicking in, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll be hearing that there's the December break soon as well. So that's also going to be coming up. And then many people would be, I hope people would just go and enjoy December. Please, not over, just responsibly enjoy your Decembers. But yeah, no, because I know that we expecting that, because we already got a drop, he gives hints and say, no, about people saying things, that one letter that spoke the truth, but was so vilified by the judge himself. Now he uses every time that the defense, needs a comfort break, or they need a medical relief or a stress relief. It's going to be used based on them and not anything else, because they're the ones now who are supposed to be dragging the thing. And at some point, don't be alarmed when it says, but the defense is dragging the case and not pushing and then trying to work while people are complaining and placing aspersions on the court. We'll hear all that hopefully as we draw closer to the closing or the ending of this court session.
Mm-hmm.
Those things will come up. But this week for me, I think there are probably two things that stand out, but there's so much that has happened. But I think two appalling things that has stood out for me was seeing that we have been dealt with. There's the NPA,
Yes.
the police,
Yes.
the judiciary,
Mm-hmm.
who have shown themselves as this thing of saying, oh no, we Gininda I think said it. No, it's showing separations of power, and then you're like, nonsense, man. You guys are colluding and you're saying exactly the same bloody thing. It's like you guys talk about this case. Even if you're not supposed to talk, but then you come into court and say, Baloy will come and say, no, I can't give information to him because he's on the stand. But yet the same person is going to come back and say, no, I gave the document to Mr. Baloy. And then the judge asks, who? And then say, no, I gave it to the prosecutor. Slipping in his mind that he just told that they still give papers or give information to each other. And that for me is the appalling thing, is that you're viewing that the judge has no, and we've said this before, has no case law to defend or to seek the truth. He only has case law to bash the defense and the accused.
Yes.
And that's what we've been seeing, because the defense has been bashed here and asked, no, I want to know case law.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only interested in case law.
Yeah.
But yet you omit certain things that deals with case law. Yes, I would blame at some point the defense of not bringing case law, like having case law.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to see them prepare. I was watching at this understudy of Bofu the other day for Thabo Bester.
Mm-hmm.
He had case law. He beat that judge based on his mind was articulate. He prepared on case law, because we will have to deal with case law issues, because and that's the reality that people have to understand. This is a court. You can have so many sentiments. You can sound so eloquent and right. Baloy and the judge are gonna beat this thing based on case law, whether it's 19 Futsek. But the moment that they bring case law into the courtroom, they're gonna say that we use case law, and sometimes we need to take emotions out. And I agree with you, and Ms. Emily, is that Chololo will have to. I'm praying for her, because at times I can't wait for her, but I'm also praying, because today I felt bad when Mnisi wanted to go relieve himself, because he was in a hurry to relieve himself.
Yeah.
And I think he didn't notice that she was trying to speak.
Yeah.
And anyway, the guy needed to go. But the judge is the one for me who also didn't give her a chance, an opportunity to speak, because his problem is that the moment that you deal with, that's what I'm talking about when I say case law. She's speaking about case law, he interjects most of the time.
Yeah.
But when Baloy speaks on case law, he waits and he just does the sound of
Yeah, that's true.
But when someone else speaks, he interjects, not with just he has almost like I'm waiting to stop you or to counter you.
Yeah.
And that for me is where I want more lawyers, so maybe black lawyers eloquent. It's like at times you want someone who says to speak to these guys. I don't want them to be perfect English speakers because that's a wrong thing that as a country we would be venturing into.
Yes.
Where we say that the equivalent of being a lawyer or a police or whatever is the language.
Yes.
At times people serve their communities. All those people might speak the language of the accused, or they can relate to the accused.
Mm.
But if you're going to say that the English that you speak or that is neither here or there, and that's the problem, is that we have three people, blacks, and we've spoken this before, who uses the English language or the Afrikaans language as a benchmark as it was used back in the days. And we forget that are the lawyers for the defense getting to place the case of their clients on this courtroom, and are they eloquent enough to speak about those issues and to address those issues? Any other thing about language? Because if we said, let them speak Vernac, because South Africa is a country of 11 official languages.
Yeah.
And not just these two. And that's the problem of our country, is that we have elevated these two languages so much that we judge Black people when they speak the English language or the Afrikaans language for not speaking it. But when it's someone else who speaks it, we clap hands because, oh, they're trying.
Yeah,
that is wrong. And that is wrong. And I think maybe we would have to get to a point where even our lawyers, especially in rural areas, have to have case law in Vernac. As I said before, there's one case that probably was made example of in the Eastern Cape that was, I think Judge Meyer also has a hand in it, in writing it in Vernac. And we need more of that so that we as Blacks, and I say we as Blacks because I fall in some bracket in some instances,
yes,
but stop undermining our own languages.
Yes.
In general. But for me, I think this week has been very tough for the defense. And at times is that they've had so little time to speak.
Yeah.
Because at times, I guess, Baloy spoke mostly.
Yeah.
Rata spoke mostly. And above all, Gininda had given essays for a yes and no. And that has been the problem of this. And the judge has not intervened on that, but rather say the defense cannot be rude or whatever the case law that he was reading of 1974, which for me is it's a problem. And I expected maybe someone else to go and find a case law that is a recent, that also addresses witnesses who don't answer questions. And that I think they should have found, because I agree with you, Mr. Anonymous, is that the case law of those years, remember 1974 was 2 years before 1976.
Yes.
If I dare remind our country how police were behaving, and you'd think it was a black court, a same court that was dealing with cases like this, hell no.
No.
And then our judge will go and make examples of cases like that when you exactly said it right. It was police officers who were being defended by the system that they were imposing in the country itself. I am with people who say we need to scrap this nonsense of laws at some point.
Yeah, we need.
But Mr. Anonymous, before I've been hogging the line, let me thank you for allowing me to speak and share for this week how tough it has been. But I'm hoping that next week Mnisi would be stronger and just shape up certain things, and maybe that, because I feel that he needs to revisit certain questions. Still, it's fine. But he needs to tighten them up, and maybe not let them go because of the judge. You know, sometimes you can ask a question, and if it's not answered, and just place it on record.
Yes.
Place it on record. And leave it, because if the judge will say no, but you can't leave it like that, you say no. It's on the record. We will argue it because I don't want to argue with you,
Yes.
with the court. But I want to place it on the record, and then we'll deal with it in arguments. But that it's there, but not to leave it linger. I hate the part where he agrees with the judge. Yes, it might not seem like he's agreeing with him, but the record will show that he's agreeing because it's a paper.
Yes.
And that's the thing that maybe people don't understand, is that thing is written on paper. It doesn't show the emotion and whatever was happening. And then it will say, no, you said you agreed with the court, and then you moved on.
Yes.
But have a wonderful evening. All the best. Have a wonderful weekend as well. Love you guys, and have a great show as well for the next week to come.
Thank you, Jonathan. Right.
And say hi to Mrs. Emily for me, please.
I'll do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Right, guys. Icona. Sasa, tomorrow, today, actually, we still have a session before this month end, right? I think this one is going to be earlier, so it will give you time to call. I'm not sure of time, but I should be as early as 8, and that's my wish. There's something that we need to go through, so you'll be able to call there if you didn't get a chance to call today. We thank you Mthozi Lang. Thank you for always being there. I'm not gonna be taking any calls now, guys. It's 3. I still have to travel. My time here is done, and if I didn't take your call today actually, you're still gonna have a chance. So I need to rest. It's been a long day for me also. I had a very long, lengthy interview, and I was writing exams in that interview. I would say it's exams. So it's the other day, I know that you guys said I was quiet, just giving you a bit of what was happening. But for now, allow me to rest and go back to my place and rest. And I will have a conversation with everyone who was here. Numbia Queen, thank you. We appreciate you, Chuguana. We appreciate you. I'm going to be in touch with you very soon, so don't worry. Dan, Laura, Zidi, and I'm happy. I'm just reminding you from my head, Busani, our member. Thank you very much, Vusutando, and thank you with everything that you have done. Thank you. And Zonzi, thank you. We appreciate you guys, all of you. But now it's late. It's actually early, but it's late. I'm about to bounce. Thank you very much for being with us. We appreciate you. May you press that like button on your way out, subscribe, become a member. The rest is history. Thank you.